start for real. 3 seconds.
Okay.
That was 3 seconds, by the way.
Oh, okay, cool. Welcome to AWIC, everyone.
All right. Yeah, we're giving you the juice today.
Yeah.
Is that something that you say or no?
No, I don't know if
That's not
that's
what the kids
something
say
anyone
anymore.
says, but sure.
All right, we're giving you the juice. So, sliding is something that we feel is a little bit over-discussed potentially, but it's also a big, juicy topic, and I'm pretty informed on it, but it's been a bit of a busy-ish week. So, Mike, you being the juice master, why don't you go ahead and just the keeper of the juice?
I have
Just go ahead and
I have sort of inadvertently become Johnny on the spot with the juice, and that's as a result of the whole situation being quite fast moving. And I literally just now had a message from someone just saying thank you for the way that I've presented it, which is like I've tried to present it in a way that's not hysterical and is based on the actual information that we have. So just a really quick wind back, because I did 3 videos in a row last night, because I just sat and recorded, released, because a lot of stuff
coming
was
out
happening
that quickly.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what's happened was, the kind of catalyst for this whole discussion was Wang Yihang's 0.78 WR average 2x2 WR average, all right? In that, we could see that there was a sliding technique being used which broke a number of regulations. That then began an investigation by the WRC, the Regulations Committee. They wanted to have a unified voice with the board. They then said, okay, we're going to use frame counting now. We're not going to apply it retrospectively. We're not going to apply it to Yihang's average. And that was the sort
So
of...
they said that they will use frame counting now? Because I thought that they said that they weren't going to.
Going
That
forward...
was that's what they used to do, was not
Oh,
do
okay.
frame
But
count.
going forward, they're going to use frame counting.
Yeah, and there's like specific parameters too. And if you want to look at like every specific detail that we're pretty much kind of gliding over, check out the WCA forum. That has just so much, even right now, and I'm sure in the next few hours there's going to be even more stuff. So if you're looking for like every detail, head over to the forum. That's where you're going to find all the juicy bits.
Okay. Continue, Mike.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I've gone over that in like word for word. I've been reading these statements and kind of analyzing them on my videos as well. So it's all there. If you don't want to read it, you can have me yap it at you as well. So they are, yeah, that happened. And then it came out that there was like some kind of tension between the board and the WRC. That sparked a lot of rumor and sort of manic reaction all across the place. There were leaks of emails coming out. It was getting really messy. The board came out with a statement to say, hey, this is what happened, which I think is what we were all waiting for. We wanted to hear the board's side of how this had gone from a WRC thing to the board intervening, and then more and more information has kept coming out, and that kind of that peaked yesterday at this petition, this Magna Carta, where people have essentially called for a vote of confidence, essentially, in the board. Again, all of this I've gone into super detail on in a number of videos, to try and explain it and to try and help people, including myself, understand it. So
Well, this is good because you're getting like real-time practice. Because like I said, I understand what's happening, but I'm not following the play-by-play as they happen. 'Cause that seems to be almost a job by itself.
Well,
so, okay.
pretty much,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
and that's what I'm saying. When I've become the Johnny on the spot, I was out playing Warhammer last night. Okay, that's just how cool of a guy I am. I was out playing Warhammer Kill Team because there's a new set coming out, and my phone was just going off. Like, so many people are just feeding me stuff. Just talk about this, do this, and that's cool. But it's been quite a lot, and I can only imagine how much it is for the board and for the WRC. There's a lot of people coming after them in a personal way, which is not cool, and we do not endorse. So
How so? If that's like okay to say in this and saying, 'cause I don't know what it is, like coming after them personally, just like being rude or mean online, or
yeah,
showing up at someone's door putting like
Kind
bags
of
of poo.
calling into question their like decision making skills and stuff, and their actual like dedication to the community, which you know, I think it's more like, yeah, we are kind of concerned with, you know, the situation at hand, but I think, you know, like people are calling for board members to completely resign, and I don't think we need full on resignation from like any of them. I think what we need is, I think probably more transparency is the big one. So we can better understand, at least in the moment, what they're thinking, what the WRC is thinking. And I think we're all just kind of hoping that maybe in the future, like with as more and more things become transparent, hopefully they kind of take the community like decisions into their own thoughts and kind of, you know, evaluate it, be like, okay, this is what everyone wants. Let's, you know, take that into our decision making process.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so I've been talking to someone, a staff member at the WCA all morning, because they flagged something in one of my videos that I had to go in and change ever so slightly because it's a long story. It's quite boring. But anyway, I was talking to them, and essentially what I'm feeling as someone who is kind of involved in boards, different boards, is like and from this information I've got this morning, I feel like the WCA has expanded really fast since like 2018, 2019. And it's no fault of anyone's. It's failed, I think, to keep up with that expansion in an effective way. So it needs, I think it needs a little bit of assistance, probably from an outside source, in a slight restructure. Not restructure necessarily, but there are some things that need to be adjusted. The board is too busy, in my opinion, with like operational stuff, like really sort of basic stuff.
So like a reorganization then.
Yeah, that's a better word. But I think
It's on that note though, it's interesting because someone asked me, trying to decide if they can be named or not. One of the
not.
core WCA people asked me like my thoughts on compensation for people within the WCA and who should be compensated and how that would all work. And I'm still sort of working out my answer to that question. But one thing that I do find sort of interesting is, and I guess it's just on one hand, the dedication of people who love what cubing and they want to help it. Because, right. I mean, there's been times where, I'm not comparing what I'm about to say to like a delegate or whatever, but there's been times where we've been at a competition and I've driven 6 hours that morning, vended all day, talked with different people, and I'm just really tired and want to go home, but they're behind schedule, so I'll hop in and scramble or judge or run or whatever just because you want to help. But I find it interesting that so many people are like dying to become delegates and just like to volunteer, like they like are prioritizing it over certain aspects of their personal life, which I find kind of cool and interesting. But what I'm getting at is, at one of the competitions, someone in the WCA made a joke that they weren't able to get jalapeno peppers on their pizza because it wasn't in the budget for the thing. And it's like, and this was a pretty like key person in the WCA. So I'm just like, huh. I mean, I guess you have to draw the line somewhere. Not everybody can maybe get like a zillion toppings or whatever, but I just found it kind of funny. And it does kind of seem like that, yeah, maybe it is time that the WCA becomes restructured or reorganized and maybe looks at compensating some of the key people that, because you can't compensate everybody, like the runners, the scramblers.
Right.
There has to be a volunteer level to it. It is still like a grassroots thing. But yeah, I do think that maybe, for the level of decisions and time going into it, maybe we'd get better results if people felt like they weren't just giving away the time for a cause and they were actually could look at it as like a job, quote unquote.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think like as the WCA, because I know, their whole like goal, or I shouldn't say the whole goal, but like a big part of it is to become like an actually, like an actual sport, to be recognized as a sport organization. So I think as we get closer and closer to that, I think it becomes more and more of a possibility that we can like pay these people.
Yeah. Might want to talk a little louder, just to be safe. See, Jaden does this thing where he has a very soothing voice, but the mic might not like that.
It's all good. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, no. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm not fully convinced that the WCA, well, I can say with certainty that the WCA as it is today is not the organization that's going to really, I think, propel cubing into different areas. I think it's great for what we're doing now and everything, but I just don't think that it has the organization, which I guess is what we keep coming back to ultimately like get involved like in like an esports type thing. I just don't think that they are at that level. But we'll see, and excited for what's going to happen with that. So is there anything more on the sliding stuff? I feel like we kind of deviated a little bit, which is always good. But
well, no, I mean,
I'm kind of,
and this is kind of something I've been trying to keep on top of, which is I don't think it's really about the slide. It's about It's about the WCA at an organizational level. There are some issues. There's nothing is like fundamentally broken, I don't think. And there are good people with good intentions leading our organization, I believe. That is from my position as a non-voting member, right? Just a regular old punter who goes to competitions.
Yeah, I agree. And so I guess like the sliding kind of lifted the hood,
yeah,
so to speak, and kind of found, a little bit, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do think that, like, in my opinion, Jaden kind of briefed me on the whole using video for the solves, and correct me if I'm quoting you incorrectly, but Jaden kind of told me that, like, essentially only certain solves, like if you're within top 50 and it's like a record or your personal record or something, at that point they'll look at using video footage. But I guess what I was looking to say is just that the fact that we weren't slow-mowing video clips in 2024 just because when that's such an easily accessible
right
solution. I mean, I don't know, like the fact that didn't they say something that like if you with the sliding specifically that if you couldn't see it on camera in real time that they were gonna.
Yeah, that was like the original standing was that like if you couldn't see the sliding happening and without slowing it down and going frame by frame, that they would just allow it because
And I guess that's
the
what
precedent
sparks.
that they set originally was that they weren't going to use frame by frame analysis. So it had to be identifiable in full speed, which to me is like I understand this was precedent set back a few years ago, I think in 2022. But to me is like if you can go frame by frame, use that to your advantage. You're getting a much more like, definitive answer that way.
Well, yeah, and the fact that it's like a magician with like sleight of hand. Like if sliding is something that people are like training to do, which young Yihang, right, is pretty good at it. It's like, I mean, I don't know. You kind of have to slow mo to that point. And I'm trying to remember, but with the 3.47, the Yusheng Du world record, I know there was lots of issues with that possibly not counting, and they were having to use surveillance footage. So what's the deal with that? That kind of, from what I'm remembering, feels like a contradiction.
Yeah, I know when the 3.47 happened, that was like right in my like gap years of cubing. So I remember coming back and like trying to keep up with all the like drama about it. I know there was a lot of like people questioning the validity of it because it was in China, and I believe the way they like either organize their competitions or the way they like post results is different than how like everyone else does it in the world.
Interesting.
So I remember a lot of people were kind of like questioning things and being like, is this actually valid or what? There was no video footage, and then eventually they found the surveillance video from the venue.
Yeah.
But
do you remember anything on that, Mike?
About the 347, no, not really. I just remember that it was in people were just like, show us the footage. Where's the video? How can someone be this good and not be recording?
Yeah. Well, I guess that my old mind. I mean, that's the thing is sometimes I feel like I deal with so much stuff on a routine basis. Is like sometimes the details escape me at times.
Yeah,
but
I hear you.
So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with all the sliding stuff, and hopefully it'll lead. It sounds like it's going in that direction to hopefully a net positive.
It's a big thing that's going to have probably some pretty big changes, and I think it's one of those things where we found a pretty big issue that we didn't realize we had before, and we're finally addressing it, and everything is happening all at once, so it seems really, really big, and it is to a certain extent. But I think this is going to be probably a major turning point in how these issues are resolved, how we can take steps to avoid issues like this in the future. So
Yeah.
I think overall we're just going to end up with a better set of rules, a better organization, and hopefully the majority of people being happy.
Well, between the sliding and the logo for blind, pretty excited. I'm a firm believer. I don't think I've gotten to give my way in that. As far as a logo on a UV coated cube, I mean, the sticker, I could see that. Because if the sticker's frayed, I mean, I could see just it being easier to say that no logo sticker. Just because that way you don't have to worry about, okay, well, is it worn out and there's an edge peeling up, or a corner, I mean. But with a UV coated logo, you could maybe feel it, and it could possibly vary by manufacturer. But the caveat to saying you can feel it is the amount of, you're going to have to like be sitting there feeling for it. And in my perspective, if somebody wants to risk sacrificing time, I mean, I guess like if they have an orientation, like I would always solve white top, green front, you could just kind of feel for it. But like, I don't know, I feel like at the world class level, no one's gonna have time to do that anyway.
Right.
And I feel like if somebody wants to try to do that to improve their time and they're not really world class,
Right. Well,
Fair.
even if you're, where I'm at, I average like just under 2.5 minutes. Me sitting there trying to feel a UV logo. It's gonna even at me averaging just under 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That's like, that's still gonna take a lot of time for me to do, and I'm just gonna get a bad time in general.
yeah.
And so
I feel like if you're at the point where you're having to try to locate the white center, like you've already made a mistake anyway. The solve's already probably pretty bad.
Right.
And you're, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be.
It should be more of a convenience thing, like with the clock pin regulation change.
Yeah.
It was more of a convenience thing upon for like the organizers and delegates and stuff to make it so they didn't have to hand out a bunch of extras all the time. So I think in the same sense, it's like it makes it easier since these manufacturers don't always like include a blank center cap, which means you would have to go out and buy a blank center cap separately from the cube you have.
Yeah.
Which, isn't that big of like an issue, but, we could just solve that problem by saying if it's UV, it's fine.
Sure. All right. Well, you want to talk about some hardware stuff, Mike? I feel like that's your favorite, one of them. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like
Is that fair to say?
That's a good segue into some hardware. Well, we've had a lot of things release. We've had a big dump from MoYu, as it were. We've got the Aozu and the Aoshwang are now out, and we've all I've got them on pre-order. I don't have them yet. They're on their way. You've got everything except the GAN 15, hey, because that's not quite ready yet. It's on pre-order, but it's gonna be later in October, hey.
Yeah, it got pushed back. I think originally we were expecting the GAN 15 to be arriving around October 10th, but right now there's the Golden Week holiday in China, so it, I think, makes sense that they're pushing it back. It's just odd, though, that the frosted version is being pushed back, and it's also strange that the marketing materials called out that the squared off centerpieces are only for the first batch, which makes me think, okay, maybe that was how they were originally going to make the cubes, manufacture all these squared off centerpieces,
right?
Decided, oh no, this could be bad for some, so let's just, instead of throwing them away, chuck them in the cubes until they're gone.
Because it was interesting, because all the GameCubes before that used round off corners on their centerpieces, so then they added the ones for the 15 that were like squared off, and to me, I don't know if it's like a placebo thing, but to me the squared off ones make it feel more stable, but it catches more often.
Yeah, that was your big
with
thing.
the rounded ones, they feel it makes the cube feel slightly less stable, but catches less often.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Mike?
I was gonna say, to me, it just feels like exactly what you've said. Like they had all these, they did the squared off ones. They realized they weren't very good, so they did the rounded ones, and then they were just like, well, are we gonna throw these in the bin, or should we just? Here you go, you can have them.
Yeah, well, it's interesting too, because I guess now like the MGC, there's like a secondary pack. Remember what I showed you a few AWICs ago, where there's like the extra centerpieces and stuff. I guess that's being sold separately now, which
For the EST.
I just really hate. Yeah, the EST. I just really hate that manufacturers do all these separate things where it's like it just makes it a pain. You have to bundle them all together, creates confusion. Like, I know that, it's just one more thing to keep track of. Like, okay, I have to remove that product image that shows the squared off centerpiece, and if I don't, someone could be angry. Then there's going to be questions about, oh, well, am I still in the first batch? I don't know. Are you in the first batch still? I don't really want to go open them all up and find out. So it's just, I don't know. Like, cubing is such a weird thing because there's just so many levels to it that are just a pain to deal with and work around, where like other industries just are so much more ironed out. Like, Mike, you can maybe appreciate this. I know you commented, was it the Tornado V4 that, yeah. The Tornado V4 that we listed for sale, when you commented that you saw it was posted. It's just like, I love the fact that all these manufacturers, they don't make all this marketing material in a matter of hours. They have it, and it's prepared. Like, I wish they could just send all the stores, hey, here's all of your marketing materials, here's the price, here's the release date. If you dare release a pre-order before this time in this time zone on this date, you're not going to get your cube, so don't even try it.
Yeah.
It would be so much better than just a free-for-all of like, okay, here's all your stuff, here's the pictures, we don't have the price, or here's the cost price, we don't have an MSRP, but then, oh no, you listed it for too low of a price, so we need you to actually go ahead and adjust that. Or you listed it too high, you need to lower it down. It's just like, again, I don't know why these things can't be, well, they can be. I don't know why these things aren't being done. Do you have any thoughts on that, Mike?
Yeah, I think I
I know you're going to agree with me. I know you are, right, obviously.
I don't disagree with you. It would make life simpler for us as people who have to create listings and images and pricing and all that stuff. Because I had pricing for the GAN 15, but I didn't have product images. And then there was it's coming out on the 15th information, which I'm not sure is valid anymore. You reckon it might be the 10th. And then before you and some other big stores had your pre-orders up, I basically had all the information, and I was like, I don't want to go first. I don't want to be the first because I'm so tiny. I was like, I don't want to be first with this pre-order because also I just I thought it was going to be a bit more expensive than it was just based on my my sums, and I was like, I had that opportunity at this release to be the first with the pre-order globally, and I went, I'm not doing that. No way, because if I have to change anything,
I think you and I might have been in the same boat, because I had everything ready to go before the pre-order went up, not by a huge lead time, but I think I had it like 24 hours or so, give or take. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, that's the thing is, again, there's so much. It's so vague as far as like time zones, and can you do the pre-order once the clock hits this day in China, or is that in the US, or like whatever time zone you operate in? So, one could assume it would be China, but I've also learned you can't make assumptions. So it's weird. It's weird. And I don't know. Luckily, I stay up weird hours, so it just is like, oh, it's time. Okay, let me just get off the couch and go listen to 3 a.m. really quick, casually. So, it's definitely weird. But one thing that's interesting is, so because you actually called this out a few AWICs ago, so it's worth kind of just circling back that. Oh, well, no. You called out the fact that you didn't think that I could release content on that Fanxin 3x3.
Oh, true, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I can. Like, this went through their marketing and was approved. Well, turns out you were right.
Yeah.
People noticed that was pulled down, and it was a like legitimate misunderstanding. Like, I mean, I don't know. There wasn't any ill feelings on either side, but yeah, apparently now we can release the cube, but not show the mech or the adjustment system. But even then, it's funny how, like, I typically abide quickly and I'm like, hey, can you pull this down? And no exaggeration, within 3 minutes, the video was pulled offline. But I did notice, and you actually pointed out too, Mike, there was a few other, I think like 1 or 2 other lingering videos that were up for a fair bit longer than they should have been. So I don't know. It'll be interesting that I don't know if they're. Because I was told that the reason it had to be removed was that it messes with their marketing plan.
Oh, that's interesting.
And that makes me just wonder, like, how does that mess with their marketing plan? Like, do they just want to be the ones to debut it and create a buzz? But then again, that's what we were kind of doing. I doubt that the mech is going to have any substantial changes when it's that developed at that point.
Right.
So I don't know. But we'll see. No hard feelings, Fanxin, if you're watching this. Still love you guys. Excited for the cube.
Yeah,
but yeah,
My-
it's just kind of like, yeah.
My perspective on that one was, yeah, because when we talked about it, we hadn't talked about it until we were recording, and I wasn't told by the manufacturer, because I made a reaction video on someone else's content, so I didn't have any contact with the manufacturer at all, and it was someone else from another store who had got in touch with me and said, oh, hey, actually, we've been told not to publish on this. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But then when I talked to you on camera, you were like, well, no, I'm in touch with the store and they said it's fine. And I was like, all right, well, I guess that overrides my rumor that I've heard, essentially. But then as it turns out, yeah, it was a bit messy, and it's continuing to be messy now that you can show the cube but not anything inside it. What is that? Like, that's nonsense. Yeah.
I think it's interesting too, and this isn't a call out to Fanxin specifically, but it's weird that this is a new thing for 2024, that we're having to screen videos through the manufacturer for new releases in some cases. I don't particularly have a problem with it, just because I can understand from their perspective, they want to make sure that we're not spreading misinformation unintentionally, or if there was a misunderstanding, or whatever.
Is, like, if I were, making a video on something, I'm sure they're starting off with good intentions. Their idea is, we don't want you to say something wrong about it. We want everything to be accurate. But at the same time, is like, will this eventually develop into them possibly being like, if we were to say, yeah, this cube has like this issue, are they going to be like, take that out of the video? Like, don't talk about that? Because then that becomes a problem.
Well,
which, as of right now, I don't think any of them have said anything, but also their cubes have been good. So
yeah, I mean, I subscribe to the whole, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it at all. Doesn't mean that you withhold information from the community. And because I feel like if you almost just don't say something about a new release, you could be implying that it's good in some cases.
Right.
But I subscribe to the practice of, if there's a problem, like with the GAN 15, there were a few quirks, and you let them know, we try to work it out, give our feedback, let them have an opportunity to I don't even want to say correct it, because that would mean that our opinion is always the right opinion.
Right.
But just give them a heads up first, and then we'll let them put the ball into their court before you just shred something to bits on a video or whatever.
Because, you don't want to, like, there is a difference between being like, oh, this cube has, like an actual, like, manufacturing issue, and then being like, oh, well, I don't like the cube, so I'm just going to, talk bad about it. So, like, there's an actual difference, and I think that is kind of what they're trying to, make sure that we all avoid. And I think it's starting out that way, and I hope it stays that way. But I worry, that there is a slight chance that it could get to a point where it's like, if we say anything that's like criticism, they could be like, don't put that in the video. But again, they haven't done that so far. There hasn't really been any issues.
Yeah, well, I feel like, too, that the difference is, like, as a store owner, our reviews are always very transparent, but there's a different dynamic there, whereas if I'm just some random Joe Schmo who's getting a hold of I guess a Joe Schmo wouldn't get a sample, so it's kind of irrelevant. Well, let's say, like, a final production cube that just hates it. Different dynamic. I mean, you can never control, like, what the public says about something, but
Right.
I feel like it just comes off a little differently if we just, as a store, shredded something, put it through the ringer without giving them our thoughts, at least, or letting them know that, hey, we don't really like it for these reasons. But anyway,
Yeah. I mean, just to pull back the curtain a little bit on that, the situation that you're in particular, I don't get as much junk mail from manufacturers as you guys do, but you literally just get cubes arrive with no supporting material, no email, no notice that they're arriving. So, like, what are you going to do with that?
Yeah, and so we were talking about, I don't even remember what the name is. What's the name of that new 3x3 that we're looking at, Mike?
Oh,
The
Huameng.
Huameng
Yeah. The
TG.
Moyu, the YS, yeah. So there's a very strong chance that that is on the way to us, and
Right.
I have no idea. It just stuff just shows up. Like very rarely do we get a heads up. Hey, sent you a sample. Here's what's different about it. Here's the highlight key points. It's just like cube here. Take cube.
Can I share with you one observation that I have already of the Huameng TG, just from the videos that I've seen? It's got, and I
Yeah,
don't know if either of
please
you
do.
have seen it yet. It's got a very interesting manual adjustment system with a little handle,
I
a
saw
little
your
U-shaped
picture.
handle that pops up. That looks very familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder where we've all seen that before. And
That does remind me. It was probably about a year ago now, but one of the the leaked patents from MoU was an adjustment system that had like a handle like that. Now, obviously, this was a quote leak, so I don't know if it was actually from MoU or not. But that was the claim, was that this is a patent that MoU had registered, and it had a handle like that for like manual adjustment without using any sort of
Yeah.
tool. So it kind of reminded me of that looking at that
well,
picture.
I mean, like, look, aside from just straight up violating somebody's patent, I think that we're getting to a point with the cubing hardware to where there's probably not a whole lot of novel new ideas currently. So I don't think it's unreasonable for adjustment systems or things of that nature to sort of look similar to one another
Right.
at this point in time. Doesn't mean that they shouldn't try to keep innovating, but I mean, I personally am a huge fan of the little lunchbox handle flip up, no tool needed approach. I know some people had issues with it breaking, and from my understanding, if it does break off, you're kind of just
Yeah.
in.
I will say with the V4s, I've been trying out a lot of different settings and I've had no issues with the handle so far on either the flagship or the Pioneer. So there is a good chance that they might have fixed it or somehow reinforced it, but as of right now, we've had it for a few weeks or maybe even a month or two, and like no issues so far.
Yeah, so I like the handle.
Yeah. No, I don't
But yeah,
hate
it'll be
it.
interesting. Like the YS3, I feel like kind of just got eclipsed. It had its like brief time in the sun and just sort of just I don't hear anybody ask us about the YS3 anymore at this point in time.
Yeah.
No, sales of it just kind of dropped off, and then I just quietly discontinued it, and nobody said a word.
You know what's funny too? Mofang Jiaoxi in the whole cubing classroom thing, that just silently died. And just like, and luckily, I saw the writing on the wall and like changed the listings to say Moyu, so there's less confusion. But yeah, that whole Mofang Jiaoxi is now more so, I guess, just for a period of time, it went from like being speed cubes as well to just twisty puzzle stuff, and then it just kind of died. So I feel like
They still put
Yeah.
the Mofang Jiaoxi logo on like the RS3M and the Meilongs. So
Yeah.
it seems like that's like could be interpreted as like their budget line.
Well, it's
is the
funny though
Mofang
because even the
Jiaoxis.
item numbers indicate a Moyu prefix, so it's like I don't know. It's instead of the Moifang Jiaoxi prefix, so
Right.
it's interesting that I feel like sometimes all these different little sub brands and stuff. It's like it's really weird. Yeah, like I was. I don't know. It's funny because I guess that sometimes you don't even know. Like some keepers wouldn't even know that the Huameng is actually like a Moyu branch, I guess, or sub brand.
Yeah. And I guess how important is that to a lot of people? I don't know, because like
Well, that's what I'm
the-
thinking. Do you think it is it a good thing? Because you would think that Moyu has credibility, so like that would help bolster the Huameng brand, or do you think they want to try to make it stand on its own?
Well, that's the question. I mean, I always listed it with Moyu, I'm fairly sure, in the title because I wanted people to know exactly what you've said. I wanted them to know that it wasn't just some brand new brand, because brand new brands don't do well historically in New Zealand. People respond much better to a cube from an established brand. Like I've had trouble with MoreTry. And I'm trying to think. I didn't go near the Dolphin Cube because I was like, no one's gonna buy it.
Oh,
Not over here.
can we just say with MoreTry, that's such a sad. I mean, now they have the X3 Plus, but that was sad because the MoreTry Cube was good.
Yeah.
I didn't care for all the different versions, which I think people know pretty much by now that I just despise multiple versions of the same cube in most cases. But yeah, that cube was doing really well, and they just could not get them manufactured. And I think that just killed all of the momentum that brand had. Yeah. And it's really unfortunate because I like it and want to support them. But yeah, that just, I don't know, the reception and excitement around the X3 Plus, which granted is just a plus version with more minor tweaks, isn't really, it's not selling as well as the MoreTries were back in the day when they first were kind of coming out. So yeah, just a good lesson example of
I didn't realize they had
make sure you have all your ducks in a row.
I didn't realize they had manufacturing issues. And there was another one, MS Cube. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
I can't even remember. Were they? I think they were the Dianxing sub brand. I really have a hard time.
They became a Dianxing sub brand.
Yeah, I have a really hard time keeping track of all of these. Just again off the cuff. But yeah, MS Cube. I mean, I think they had some optimism starting out. People were optimistic about it, but then just. I will tell you, as they continue to release more, like the MS3X, I think the L came before the X. Yeah, those just do not sell.
And then they released their most recent 3x3, I believe, the MS3R, which people the thing with that cube is that even on the tightest setting, it was way too loose and flexible, and it was weird because I remember when we got the samples in, the samples were tighter. Like, they felt tighter than the actual final release, which was really strange.
I remember that.
And then the price was just, I think, too high for people to justify it.
Yeah, I think that's where these new manufacturers miss, is I feel like they come out with the most radical designs, like we're seeing with that new Fanxin cube. But the price point is not something that most people are willing to gamble on.
Right, especially when they're not familiar with either the brand or... the features that they're including with that cube.
Like, I don't know, rolling the dice on a $28 speed cube that is from a brand that you don't really typically, isn't known for, like, making 3x3s, for example. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking at the one that the MS Cube. That was the MS3X that I looked at when I was doing videos over on Boomer Cuber for a while, which was like a test channel. But that was the one that had just the most ridiculous parts set up. It was just like you opened the box and it was just like a cube and then 100 bits like around it, and it was just looking at it, I was like, absolutely not, absolutely not.
There must be one of them, and that must have been the one. There was one from MS Cube that I opened it, popped the cap off, and was just like, yeah, no. Like,
Peace,
I'm going to need like 6 more cups of coffee for that. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know what's funny, though, is how it's just a prime example of how people get sort of conditioned to certain things. When I was, YOLO. When I was working on the Fanxin 3x3 cube and trying to adjust it, Jade and I found that it was pretty loose. And we were getting a little bit of like corner twisting, which is being addressed, by the way. So it is being addressed. But I was just tightening it using the compression system. And I'm just like, man, I cannot get this thing any tighter. I'm so accustomed to not whipping out a screwdriver and like tightening a screw on these flagship cubes. I didn't even think, I just totally glazed over the fact that, oh, there's a screw there that I could actually tighten too, which is like, it's embarrassing to say that, but like, I'm so used to like, okay, dual adjustment, you got your presets, which it's, I don't know. I like that direction, but I do think that we kind of lose a bit of the novelty of like, when we would train people to service like our Cosmics, Supernovas, those setup services, tensioning is an art form.
Yeah.
And, I will YOLO. I'll take pride in saying that Max Park made the comment, wow, this cube is actually really even, or Jaden, he said to Jaden, so I don't want to misquote him, but essentially to the effect that like, wow, you tension your cubes really evenly. It's like, thanks, Max. Yes, we do. And that takes lots of training. And because Moyu came out with those tools at one point. Do you remember those, Mike? And maybe you, Jaden, where it was like 2 sticks that you would wedge them in between the centerpiece.
Like with the I think they came with the WRM
If we want to, if
2019
we want
one,
to take this all the way back, they sold with the GTS V1, I think, a straight up like box where you can buy the tensioning kit. They were red and blue. We've got to find a picture to throw that up on screen somewhere. I'm sure the
Yes.
editor or someone will forget, but yeah, like that was terrible because it was purely off of like, okay, I'm tightening it. We've made contact. I think that's the same level of tightness as the other sides, and it just did not work. Like you would spend so much more time trying to get that even than just learning how to make a cube even. But I would spend literally weeks training people to do these setup services. And so now that you can just whip out your tool and set the clicks evenly, definitely makes that part of the job easier. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if good old tensioning actually gets phased out entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shall see. Hey, we are 40 minutes in. Do we want to think about wrapping up? Is there anything pressing that you need to talk about before we wrap this one up?
You talk about your favorite holiday.
Yeah, Halloween stuff. I mean, 35% off at the time of filming. So, I'll just say right now, you know what really annoys me, Mike?
Tell
Me
me.
too, Jaden. You know what
Yes,
really
let's
annoys
go.
me?
Let's go. What annoys you? What grinds your gears? Tell us, Ken.
Oh man, it grinds all 6 of them. I drive a stick like a man. But
Shots fired.
yeah, when I list Halloween items like early September or Christmas items in like November, and there's always those comments, bro. It's not even October yet. Why are you listing Halloween stuff? It's like, do you not understand the concept that like you need time to buy the widget, whether it's the cube or the bag or the mat, and enjoy it leading up to the holiday? Like you don't order it the week of Halloween and be like, oh yeah, that was cool for a day, and just
And also,
novelty's over.
You risk it going out of stock.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
it's like, look at the big box stores. Like I walk into a Costco, it's August, they have Christmas stuff out,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, where are you guys now with your comments? So that's what grinds my gears. I'm excited about the Halloween stuff. I'm possibly transitioning to becoming more of a Christmas guy. Don't really know why.
Whoa,
But
that's big.
I think-
Okay.
yeah, it is. I'm just kind of sad because Veronica and I are enthusiasts of the 12-foot skeletons you can get from Home Depot, which when we first got into those, it was a coveted thing where like people were scalping them and you could not just find them. Home Depot has since in the recent like last 2 years finally caught up on the supply, so not as exclusive. But yeah, we like since moving to Las Vegas, it's different terrain out here. It's like lots of rocks, so you don't see like really grass in neighborhoods. Whereas in California, we had grass, so you could just stake them up in the front yard and they look really cool. But here we have like hills and rocks, and I'm like, yeah, this thing is not able to be set up. So I think that just the lack of being able to decorate is kind of a little saddening. So just kind of gradually segueing to Christmas, possibly, but we'll see.
I know you were disappointed that we couldn't get the skeleton to fit inside the warehouse.
Yeah, we tried to have him in the warehouse as like the head supervisor, but his head couldn't fit. So that was kind of a bit of a bummer also. But and it blew over during that insane windstorm in 2022.
Yeah,
So that was kind of saddening also. But yeah, Halloween stuff was cool. I went down to Spin Master / Rubik's last week. That was
True.
cool to see their facility and seeing what they have on the horizon. We weren't able to take pictures, but I can say that it's funny that like they have a cube coming out that err on the side of safety and not possibly leak it. But essentially,
Dang it.
they thought that they invented something or bought the design from an inventor who thought that he invented this. And Moyu did the same exact thing like years ago.
Oh.
So it's interesting how, and same thing with their little Christmas tree. You know how Rubik's has the little Christmas tree 3x2x1?
Yeah.
3x2x1? No,
Yeah.
3x1.
3x2.
No, yeah, 3x2x1 or 1
Yeah,
by
3 by 2
3.
by 1.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. 3. Yeah. I made a comment like, oh, it's funny that that's the one thing that Rubik's like took from the Chinese puzzle designers, like Yunk, and they're like, oh no, like we paid someone like for this design, and I'm just like, oh, it's a little awkward. Did you not know this has been made in China for like several years. I think that the China's ones predate the Rubik's ones. I don't know that to be for sure, but I will say that Rubik's is making some moves, and they're trying to integrate a lot more with the speed cubing community, which is cool, but may change the landscape a little bit. Yeah. And it's kind of interesting. And I'm just really surprised that the Rubik's Speed Cube is getting such a positive reception. Like, even though people know it's a SwiftBlock 355S that's repackaged and possibly marked up, and people will start buying it because of the novelty. And that's really interesting to me, because I feel like most people wouldn't do that, but I guess because it has the Rubik's logo on it, it's a cool, I'd say cool collector's thing, but even some people are just straight up using it, so it's really interesting.
Yeah, and it was also interesting that there are some people who don't know that it's a SwiftBlock, and you'll have people who, you know, will be like, oh man, the SwiftBlock, like, really is not that good. And then some of those
That's
same
my
people,
favorite.
some of those same people will get the Rubik's Speed, and they're like, wow, this is, like, actually kind of good. And it's like, but,
I did see a comment of somebody who I guess saw chatter that the Rubik's Speed Cube is the SwiftBlock, and maybe just glazed over it and misunderstood it and thought that they were being compared. And he's like, yeah, I have them both, and I like the Rubik's one way more. It's way better. He didn't even just say he likes it more. He went into the whole performance. I'm like, buddy. Like,
it's like they're the same thing.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think that's a good stopping point. It's easy to stretch these things out. They're fun. So this is our first triple AWIC coming at you from...
Well, no, we did one with Garrett.
Oh, okay, that is true.
Which is now actually really funny. This is not only our second triple AWIC, but our second triple AWIC with a Cube Store owner.
That is true.
Oh, there you go. Didn't you? You did one with Soup Timmy as well, didn't you?
Yeah, but he's not a Cube... Man, yeah, but we did.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, wow. Man, yeah, time does go by. Okay, just forget I said any of that. This is not a special AWIC then.
No, nothing to see here.
Hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, it's all fun. I like when Mike wraps it up. So Mike, do us the honor.
Okay, cool. Well, first of all, I'm going to make a pitch. If you're getting into Christmas stuff, I think Christmas scented lubes I can totally get behind. Like, that sounds pretty good. You know, like mulled wine, kind of, all that kind of Christmas vibe.
Well, we do that.
Cake.
You know that, right?
You do a Christmas... I didn't know that.
Yeah, peppermint scented, man.
Oh, peppermint. Well, yeah, okay. Candy canes, sure.
Peppermint
it's our candy cane lube.
Yeah, we call it candy cane. I'll send you a bottle.
Okay. I would love like a Christmas cake or something like that, like some rich Christmas wintry flavor. That'd be cool.
Like
anyway,
eggnog.
I will say we are exploring a Max Park Korean barbecue lube. We're going into some weird rabbit holes in the lube
barbecue.
game.
Dude, now I'm just hungry. That sounds good right now.
Yeah. I'm ready for that.
Yeah, but all right, sign us out, Mike.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you so much for watching another week in cubing, everyone. We will catch you at approximately the same time next week, maybe.
Is it another week in cubing or another a week in cubing?
Another A-week. All right, another A-week in cubing.
Well, another week in cubing kind of it rolled off the tongue nicely. Maybe that'll be the new name. Just another week in cubing. Another week in cubing.
I don't hate it.
I'm like, man, it's another week in cubing. But all right, thanks guys for watching. We'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.